Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are watching it. Welcome to the live or the rebroadcast if you're watching it later on. My name is Sarah, and in today's live, we are talking about communication. How to effectively communicate so that people actually listen to what it is you have to say and you get the results that you're trying to get. So if it's your first time coming on a live with me, my name is Sarah Roxanne Watson. I am a Toronto-based entrepreneur and speaker, and I come on every week, and I'm just here to inspire, motivate, and empower you guys. You know this, 2020 is our year to shine, to grow, to be amazing, our authentic selves, and that's what I'm here to help you guys do. So we talk about a variety of things. Some topics are more professional related, like entrepreneurship, business, etc. Some are more personal and just personal development and growth. Talk about mindset, achieving goals, all of that. So when you hop on the live or whatever you're watching this, make sure you comment below. Let me know where you're watching from. Say hi. I love chatting with you guys. Definitely ask questions during the lives. And if there's any topic that you're interested in me talking about in the future on another video or another live, make sure you also leave that in the comments, because I do go back and watch the video again, and I also go back and read all your comments. So I'm gonna touch on a few different things in regards to communication, but there's one really big one that if you just practice this, your conversations with people will be way better. You will get more results in your business, in your personal life. So make sure you stay till the end, because I'm gonna give you the major tip at the end of this live. So I'm gonna jump right into it. Right, first thing, eye contact. Eye contact. A lot of you have to remember that when you're talking to someone, the real key is to connect with them. And the best way to connect with someone instantly is to look them in the eye. Now, in our society where a lot of us are constantly on our phones and looking down all the time, we'll be talking to someone and we're still like da 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 da. When you take the time to put down whatever it is you're doing and look someone in the eye, they feel like you are prioritizing them. You are choosing to give them your full attention. It's a sign of respect. It's a sign of confidence when a person is speaking to you and they look you in the eye. If you're communicating with someone, you're talking to someone face to face, you're at an event, maybe it's like a networking event, and you're looking down like this, or you're kind of like, it brings off an air of lack of confidence. Like you're not, not even that you're shy, because it's not necessarily that, but maybe the words that are coming out of your mouth, you're not confident in what you're talking about, or you're not confident about what you're asking for. Look people in the eye. And this is going to be something you'll have to practice, because it can be kind of awkward sometimes, like especially when you're first starting out and if you're not used to doing it, you have to practice. It's like anything. Let's remember, we were all children at some point, right? And we didn't come out of the womb knowing how to walk. We didn't come out knowing how to crawl or talk. We developed these skills through practice, repetition. We tried it, we failed. We tried again. We tried it, we failed. We tried again. It's the same thing with all the tips that I'm gonna give you. Don't worry if it's not something that doesn't come natural to you. It will over time. You just have to practice, stay consistent, and promise yourself that in every face-to-face interaction that you're having, just tell yourself mentally, okay, everyone that I speak to in this room today, I'm just gonna remember one thing. Look them in the eye. Look them in the eye, okay? So that's one tip right there. And to add to that tip, when you are speaking to someone or someone is speaking back to you, you're looking them in the eye. Now, don't be weird with this, okay? So let me, I gotta remember that everyone doesn't think like me. So When you are looking at someone while you're talking to them face to face, don't be like this. Okay, so they're talking to you and you're just like, don't do that. Don't do that, okay? Look at them. You can like, yeah, You can break eye contact a few times, but not like in a weird way like, oh, I really don't want to talk to you, but I'm listening to you anyways. But don't just like stare at them like with this really intense stare like, relax. Relax. Look at them. And then the second tip, smile. Smile. You don't have to do a big old smile like me. You don't have to do that. But when someone is speaking to you about especially something that they're passionate about, and you're making eye contact, you're giving them your undivided attention, and you're smiling and you're nodding and you're saying, yes, okay, yeah. You are, it's a way of showing them that you are interested in what they have to say, and what they're saying is pleasing to you. And at the end of the day, you don't have to be a people pleaser, but people like and they connect with people who they feel are like them. So if you're talking to someone and they feel like the things that they're communicating to you, you're agreeing with them, you're smiling, you seem happy, you seem really engaged in the conversation, mentally, they may not be saying it to you, but mentally they're thinking, oh, me and her or me and him really have a lot in common. We're like on the same page. Now, there are going to be times when you are having conversations with people and you won't be on the same page. So this tip might not be for that particular situation. So for example, if you're arguing with someone or someone is mad at you and they're conveying this through their words, smiling might not be the best thing to do. Smiling might give them the impression that you're not taking them seriously. So there is a time and a place for everything. So I'm hoping that you'll understand when the time is for you to smile and when the time is for you to just maybe keep a more neutral look on your face. Be mindful of body language. You need to remember that there are both verbal and non-verbal cues, right? So not only your body language, but the person's body language. So one of the first things you can do when you're talking to someone face to face, first thing you tell yourself, relax. Relax. Whatever you're going into, just relax. Relax your body, relax your face. Just make sure you're comfortable, relax. Now, if you have your arms folded like this while someone's talking to you, and I'm gonna show you. You have your arms folded like this. The person's here, and you're kind of like facing away from them. You're looking this way. You're like, You're looking at them. You're, looking in their eyes periodically, and you're listening. Or maybe you are looking in their eyes, but your body, the front of you, is not facing them. That's a non-verbal cue. Some people don't necessarily realize that they're doing it, and the person who you're speaking to may not consciously realize that it's affecting the communication between the two of you. But what it does is this stance makes people feel like you're closed off because you're crossing your arms, right? You're closed off. You're looking, your body is not facing the other person, so you're facing maybe just to the side. You're not like fully turned away from them, but you're just facing a little bit to an angle. It gives the impression of disinterest or disinterest basically. It can also, for some people and in some cultures, some countries, it comes across as disrespectful. So you gotta look at how you are in conversations. One of the best ways to make sure that you're connecting with a person, it's a thing they call mirroring. So if you Google mirroring, 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 you're basically mirroring. You're kind of doing what the other person is doing. So if the person is facing you and their arms are like on the table or down, so they're open, do the same. because this person subconsciously, they're seeing themselves in you because you're reflecting them in that moment. They're not consciously thinking this. This is not something we consciously think about. Oh, the person has their arms open like me. We don't think about it like that. It's a mental game, people. This is psychology, right? So it's a mental game. So think about that. Think about your body language. Be confident in whether it's in a seated position or if you're standing. Think shoulders back, shoulders down and back. Keep your head up, make eye contact, smile if the situation calls for it, and be open. Put your hands down maybe in your lap, keep it on the table. If you're at a table, for example, and the person is sitting across from you, if you move a little forward, like you're not leaning back in your seat, it gives the impression of that connection again. You're genuinely interested in hearing what it is they have to say. If you're more relaxed and back, it's not a bad thing either. It conveys the message of openness. You're relaxed, you feel comfortable with the person who you're speaking with. So they're more likely to open up to you. The key in this third tip is to be mindful of your body language, but also the other person. If the other person is really stiff and like cross and they're not smiling and whatever, say that they're just like, and they're looking at you, they're like, mm-hmm. Now, sometimes this is a hard one to judge because different cultures, different personalities, some people could come across very hard and stern, and they really aren't. Sometimes for people, when they concentrate, they kind of forget that their face has muscles and they can move and be more relaxed, and they're just kind of like, or really stern. And you may interpret that as them not liking you, or them not agreeing with what you have to say, or them not really being interested in the words that are coming out of your mouth. These are all possible, but here's what I'll tell you, because I had experiences. I used to run in circles with a lot of Asian people, Chinese people specifically, and I learned this because, well, I shouldn't say I learned this because of them, but they opened my mind a little bit when it came to this. Most of the time in Toronto, anyways, I can't speak for the rest of the world, but in Toronto, when you meet some Chinese people, immediately when you're first speaking to them, especially if they don't know you, their face comes across very stern. You would think that they were ready to like cut your throat or something, because you almost are like afraid to talk to them because their face just looks very stern. But what I came to realize is it's not really that. Not all the time anyway. Sometimes that's just the way they are. They're not really mindful of it. They don't realize it sometimes. And this is where it leads into tip number 4. Always enter every conversation you have with a person with confidence, okay? They do not know that you don't know what you're talking about yet. If you're going into a conversation and maybe the topic that the people in the conversation are talking about, it's not something you know very well, I can guarantee you, if you walk into that circle and you have confidence, you speak clearly, you speak with confidence, you hold yourself in a confident manner, they will listen to you. They will listen to you. As long as you don't say like some foolishness or something stupid, they'll invite you back for more conversations on the topic. And remember, like a lot of these other tips, confidence is something that will come over time. If you don't consider yourself a confident person, it's not gonna happen overnight, okay? So don't beat yourself up. If the next time you have an interaction, you come out of there feeling like, oh, I didn't really feel very confident, I don't think that went very well. Don't worry. Even the most confident people in the world, they had those moments when they were starting out. It takes practice. You'll build it, so don't worry about that. Let's say you're at a networking event, okay? You started a business, or you've been in business for yourself for a while, but you're trying to expand your network so that you can take on more projects, or maybe find more clients, or just do more business, do more work, or expand, whatever the reason is. If you walk into a room with other entrepreneurs and you're not confident, people will they'll be able to tell. Confident people typically, what would I say? Confident people typically gravitate to other confident people. And confident people usually get what they want. So even if you are confident and you believe that you deserve something, like, nobody can stop you from getting it. Because in your mind, you deserve that. You're supposed to have it. And you walk into a room like the room belongs to you. I had to learn how to do this because growing up, I was a little more shy. I grew up in a really big family. My family is opinionated, loud, and I wasn't that kid. I was quiet, and I grew up kind of, I wouldn't say in the shadows, but kind of in the background. I didn't speak up as much. I was low-key, I just played it cool or whatever. But as I got older, I realized that was hindering me a little bit because I wasn't going after certain things that I wanted. I wouldn't go after, like, if there were auditions for things at school, if there were, like, plays or, like, kid stuff, things like that. I wouldn't go for it because I didn't have that confidence to get up in front of a crowd and just be myself, speak my truth, whatever you want to call it. So a lot of opportunities, I kind of just passed them up. I didn't really pay attention to them, So you have to be confident, and this will take practice, okay? It will take practice. So a practical way, because me, I'm always trying to give you guys little things you can go home and do. Next time, in any conversation that you're having with a person face to face, if you're sitting down, you just go through these things. Make sure your shoulders are back, chest is up. It's gonna feel weird at first. You're gonna feel like a peacock, but it's okay. You'll get used to it and it'll come natural. None of this. You can't be talking to people and slouching. It doesn't convey confidence. It doesn't convey that you're serious. People aren't going to take you seriously when you do that. Communication also, especially if you're communicating face-to-face in a business setting, it does have a lot to do with the physical things that people see when they first walk up to you. People are making a judgment about you from the moment they first see you, before you even open your mouth. So if you look, and this doesn't have anything to do with beauty or anything like that. This is just solely like the way you put yourself together, the way you're dressed. Is your shirt ironed? Do you look put together? You walk into a room and you look put together, and you walk in with confidence, trust and believe, people will come to you. You won't have to go to anybody in that room. People will gravitate to you. This happens to me all the time. People will gravitate to you because confident people want to be around other confident people. And then even non-confident people want to be around confident people. Okay, so remember that. Just to recap, we talked about eye contact. We talked about body language, your body language, and the person's body language. Confidence. And I'll give you one fourth one, okay? Any interaction I'm having with a person, stay open, okay? Understand that you are not always going to be on the same page with people. Your views and my views might be very different. It doesn't mean we can't have an intellectual conversation and be respectful of one another's perspectives and walk away maybe you learning more and me learning more. Stay open in any interaction. Don't go into anything judging based on how people look, even though this is what a lot of people do instinctively. Like, you're gonna do it naturally, but despite what your first instinct is saying in terms of, oh, that person looks like they would be hard to talk to, take that out of your mind. Stay open, because that person in the room who you think is probably super hard to talk to, guess what? Other people in that room probably think so too. So no one's talking to them. Imagine the impact. Imagine the impression you will leave on this person if you go and talk to them anyway. Who do you think they're going to remember? They're going to remember you. Now, make sure that what you have to say is not a waste of their time, but that's a whole other topic. We need to actively listen. Communication goes both ways. You communicate, you say your piece, I listen. I respond. That's how we communicate. But the way a lot of people communicate nowadays is they listen just enough to speak, just to object or to throw in their rebuttal or whatever. They're not actually listening to what the person's saying. Like, what do they really mean? What is this person trying to convey to me? What are they trying to tell me? Active listening is about listening to a person to understand where they're coming from. You're concentrated on the words that they're saying. So say, like this live, you might be on here and you're listening to me, but if you leave off of this live and you don't remember anything that I said, you weren't actively listening. You might have been distracted, maybe you were doing other things, and this is why it's important that when you're talking to someone, put your phone away. And what I do when I go out with my friends, when I meet people for business, things like that, unless I know that I'm expecting like a call or maybe there might be an emergency or whatever, this is something that I communicate to the person when I sit down, when I first meet with them or whatever, so they know that my phone might go off and I may have to take a call, so they know this in advance. That's another thing about effective communication, right? And the next thing is I put my phone on silent if I know that I'm not expecting a call, and I put it face down. I either put it face down on the table or I actually leave it in my bag. I don't even take it out. Because I want this person to realize that my full and undivided attention is on them. So I make the eye contact, I smile as they're talking to me, I relax, I don't cross my arms, I relax. I have a more open and inviting body language so they feel comfortable to share things with me. And I listen intently, actively listening. When they finish saying what they have to say, I say, you know what? You're really right. Say that they were just talking about some random thing about their kid or whatever. It's like, I don't have any kids, but that whole thing about your kid, da-da-da-da-da, if you repeat something that they said during the time that they were talking to you, subconsciously, they're already thinking, wow, oh man, she's really listening to me. She really is interested in what I have to say. People crave genuine connections so much in our society now that if you just take the time to sit down without a distraction and give your undivided attention to a person, you can instantly connect with them. It's so easy now. Because most of the time if you go out, I'll literally, because I go out by myself from time to time, like pretty often. I'll go maybe to a restaurant, go grab something to eat or whatever, and I will see people sitting at a table together, and some of them are like this, and they're like, ha 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 ha. Yeah, I know, I heard about that. And I'm not saying that's not gonna happen sometimes, but I feel like if you're going into an interaction, especially if it's for business or you're genuinely wanting to get to know someone, the best thing you can do is to give them your undivided attention and listen actively. Listen with the intent to understand where they're coming from, not with the intent to respond. And sometimes you don't even have to give your input. Sometimes people just want someone to listen to them. And the fact that you sat back and you took the time and you listened and you said, yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from. I've never, like I might say, because I don't want you to lie and say, oh yeah, I know what that feels like. I went through that if you did it. No, don't do that. That's not authentic. That's not genuine. if someone's talking about something that they've been through and you've never been through it, you can still actively listen and be empathetic towards them, because you can say, you know what, I've never experienced that particular thing before, like what you experienced, but man, like that's a lot, like for where you've come from and all of that, and like go back and say things about them, even things that maybe you did some research on and said, yeah, I'd read that article that you wrote about, you know, you growing up here and some of the struggles and the trials and tribulations that you went through. So to hear you talk to me about this face to face, I'm just so grateful that you feel comfortable enough to talk with me, and I'm so glad we were able to do this. People, I'm telling you, you talk like that to people, they want to talk to you all the time. They want to invite you out for lunch, for dinner, for coffee. Anytime an event or something comes up, they think of you. They want you to come and do it. They want you to come and speak at it. They want you to come and interact with them. They want to introduce you to their friends and their friends' friends. That's what I'm going to leave you guys with today. Thank you so much for coming on the live. Again, like I said, if you have any questions, any suggestions for topics that you'd like me to talk about, please comment below when you watch this. I do go back, I read all of your comments. Thank you so much. I hope you guys are having an amazing day or night wherever you are, and keep being awesome, because you know I'm going to remind you to do that. Keep growing. Every day you should be striving to get better as a person, within your career, within your family, whatever that is, and take one of the things you learned today and apply it immediately. The next conversation that you have with someone, apply one of the tips. The way to ingrain a habit is repetition, practice, but if you take action immediately, you're more likely to keep on track with it and stick with it. So don't leave this live and just go back to your day or your night or whatever. The next time someone calls you on the phone, practice that. Smile, even though they don't see you. When you smile when you're talking on the phone, you sound more cheerful. You sound happy. You sound like a person people want to talk to.